Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience. We do like to start on time, and unfortunately, not everyone adheres to mean standard time. So here we are. My name is Sania Qureshi, and on behalf of Lifestyle Property London, along with my colleague A.K. Afan, we'll be running through some key points as part of our first property workshop. This is the first of a series of 4, which we have had the pleasure of running at the Arab Chambers, and we're very thankful to the Arab Chambers for hosting this event. The idea is for intel sharing, to give you some insights on what we've gathered as a property procurement and construction business. Many of our colleagues here are either working in the city, both as professionals or advisors to family trusts. So part of the ethos of the workshop is to inform and support some of the property investment and focus needs that we have found are out there. Our workshop will be around, today's seminar will be around 4 key events, subjects. The first is our Lifestyle 360-degree offer as a service proposition, what we do as a business. My colleague will then run through this afternoon's unique investment opportunity around a certain sort of build construction proposition, which we are working on and with our strategic partners. And that's the core investment opportunity we want to share with you. And it's an exclusive offer, so we haven't tendered it out to any other clients. We're proposing this to you today. We will then be sharing our emerging trends and market intel, and also the hotspots for investment and letting. So some of the trends and changes within the London market specifically and the wider Greater London area. If you do have questions, if I could take them at the end of the sessions. We also will welcome you to complete the feedback forms in your packs. There is an opportunity to also request a one-to-one meeting with our colleagues if there is an investment interest on your behalf or for your clients. So what's our service proposition? We are a family-run business. We've been in the property space for 15 years. I came on board last year, but the family-run outfit is primarily a husband and wife team. We have a team of 5 individuals that cover a range of specialisms from tax, legal, and construction. We outsource the architectural and interior design element, but otherwise the core service is in-house. What we aim to do as a business is constantly looking, maximizing the opportunity of capital return on any investment proposition that we find for our client. A lot of people ask, well, what's the difference between yourself and other high street or boutique operations where you can go to a broker or an estate agent to find the relevant property that you're looking for? The point is that we don't chase a commission or chase a one-off sort of payment. What we do is we establish relationships, and we see more and more of our clients returning for business and also referring business to us. So that in itself is testament. We offer a bespoke service. So as mentioned, we look on a case-to-case basis what our clients need. Approximately our client base is a 60-40 mix of 60% non-dom international clients, 40% local London residents, primarily your young professional market, who are upwardly mobile and are cash-rich, time-poor, so hence require service such as ours. We do always have a challenge on pricing. The building market is forever increasing in cost, and we will see an increase in cost over the next 2 years with Brexit, as we lose a lot of skilled labour to returning to Europe. But what we do is we never underprice or overprice our quotes on any project. The idea is that a lot of construction companies underprice to procure and secure business and then have hidden costs. So we ensure that clients are never surprised through the project lifecycle by any hidden costs. So we're very realistic and honest with our quoting. Sourcing products as part of our design offer is really key, and that proposition is tied in with Lifestyle Design and Build, our sister company. We have relationships with suppliers from Germany, Italy, so we can source from manufacturer directly. So hence our pricing is very competitive with any project we take on. And project management is key. Like anything, our bespoke one-to-one service from the point of a client requesting sourcing a property through the refurbishment and handing that back. And that is purely project managed on a one-to-one basis. You won't be handed on to different people. And that's really important for a lot of our clients who aren't resident here. They don't understand the market. They don't want to be sourcing and chasing different individuals. One of our more popular sort of projects was for a Thai client 18 months ago. We grew his property portfolio from 0 to 4 in the space of 3 years. I can safely say he's a very happy customer and a returning customer. He asked us to source a family home, and very specifically in a location near Harrods, of course. We managed to procure the right property for him in a duration of a 13-month project. We sourced the property at 12 million, refurbished it, completely gutting the premises, and then ensured a resale value now at 18 million pounds, which was 18 months ago, so it's had a very sort of successful growth there. So that's one happy customer. If I hand over to my colleague now, he'll talk through some of our more commercial case studies. Okay.
Hello everyone. This is an ex-council block building which was purchased for £732,000. We need to complete refurbishing, complete get out, where we can spend £248,000 on 5 studios, but the actual value we created was by adding another floor to the top, where we spent £262,000 and we achieved a value of 1.2 million. So again, this is what we do. Total cost of the project 1.4 million and total sales 3.3 million, bring a profit 1.9. So this is what we try to do. We try to add value for our clients and actually any development we purchase. And this is the next one where again we bought the first floor 3-bedroom apartment for 1.15 million in Hampstead, and we converted those to 2 flats, one 2-bed and 1 single bed, and total cost of 1.4 million. And getting a value of £400,000. So these are the sort of opportunities we look for and try and add value. And this is the next one, which is in Leatherhead, South London, Surrey, where we bought a bakery with disused offices at the top. It took us about 6 months to get planning permission for 9 flats. We spent £1 million and it's now worth 2.7 million. So all the flats are sold. And this is the Abbey Road. This is the one at the moment which is in progress. It's going to start in April, where we only bought the roof space, not the building, just the roof space. Now, with that one, go to the next slide. What we're going to do is spend money refurbishing the whole building, add a lift, and build a new penthouse apartment at the top. So, total purchase for the roof space is 465,000, and build cost 270. End value, sales value can be 1.3 million. This is a unique model which we will go, I will delve a bit deeper into it, which follows on to unique investment opportunity. Now this is a disruptive model that has the potential to release 180,000 homes worth £54 billion. This is according to a report by Hardman and Company based in the City of London, without digging a single spade in the ground. Ladies and gentlemen, this is roof space. This is a unique opportunity to become a market leader in this sector and be one of the leading players in the London property scene. We have £50 million worth of projects in the pipeline and expect to increase that to £100 million in the next 12 to 18 months. We have signed up 2 London boroughs in negotiations with another London borough, the GLA, and 2 leading national retailers. Land is in short supply in London, as everyone knows, and planners are supportive of upward growth. This will drive innovation and growth in the London's real estate sector. There is a fourfold efficiency. There is a fourfold efficiency gain in our model. Efficient project delivery. 98% of the apartment is built off-site, so there's no delivery or site restrictions. There's no infrastructure delays, and obviously lately now lack of skill shortage, skill shortage for labor. So that won't affect this at all. And fixed cost minimization. All costs are predetermined prior to commencement of project, including sales costs. So there are no costs, there's no need to build and maintain expensive show homes. So all costs are mission critical. Market risk minimization. We say our typical project timeline is 12 months. This ensures that all projects are completed within the current market conditions, as opposed to the traditional method where it can take up to 2 to 3 years of project time cycle. This can have repercussions to your profit margin if the markets start to deteriorate. Maximize return. The only capital employed is working capital. This maximizes return of capital employed. It enables us to give returns of up to 20% per project. Not many projects, there are not many investment opportunities which will give you 20% return on a consistent basis. This development process is more efficient than the traditional method. There is a large potential developable market, and this is a very scalable project. The whole process is quite scalable. So we can, from one single unit to 100 units. It's much faster than the traditional method. There are further savings to be had with economies of scale. As we develop and grow bigger, with economies of scale, there'll be further savings to be had. If you'd like to discuss further or know more about that, please come and speak to me after the session. I'll be happy to talk to you and go in more detail.
Great, thanks, AK. So moving on to that, the proposition we have with airspace is very unique, but part of what makes the London real estate market still of value and where you can actually be more strategic in where you put your money or advise clients to put their money has to be determined by sort of market trends and intel, and some of that we wish to share. So with commuter belts, schools, regeneration, that's kind of a minefield for a lot of our international clients. What does that mean? And why shouldn't I just invest in Knightsbridge or Mayfair? And why aren't I getting the same rental returns as West London? Some of the reasons are the market is changing rapidly. And that has been reflected by some of the gentrification of areas, some of the steady influx of professionals moving to particular more affordable postcodes, which drives rental growth as well. So whether we're advising a client on a buy-to-let or buy-to-live, we do give them the full perspective of London and not just your traditional postcodes, where people focus on Mayfair, Knightsbridge, and central postcodes, in which have variations in rental growth even amongst them, as well as square footage price points. This enables us to provide a comprehensive scope for clients to decide the best fit option for their investment needs. On a case-to-case basis, this is so variable. And for example, a property in Cromwell Road, which you can purchase at 2.2 million on average, a one bed, the rental return is 3,500 per calendar month, as compared to a property in South London in SW18, where you could pick up a decent sized property for 1.2 million and achieve a rental of 4,500. So looking at the comparisons and breaking some of the myths about just focusing on central London postcodes, which often are squeezed and overpriced because demand is driven it that way. So we are looking at opportunities for clients outside of those areas. The commutability of new emerging suburbs is also very key. As many of you know, Crossrail, the Tranche 1 is already underway. That has been reflected in the fact that there is a housing shortage in London, and councils, more than before, are working closely with developers, which isn't a bad thing. Approximately, data has sort of reflected that there is a shortage of 50,000 homes per annum. So we cannot build as fast enough as demand is out there. So councils have realized that working closely with developers will ensure some of that demand is met, though we can't simply meet it in central London areas. So the Greater London postcodes are a viable option. There's more growth potential, there's stronger rental yield, which we'll go into shortly. And Brexit has had an effect on the market, but it's not had as damaging effect as many people had predicted, purely because of the shortage that is underway. We have seen some overpricing of central London stock. Nine Elms is an example of that. Much of that is still empty, and the rentability there is still very slow. So what does regeneration mean for most people? It means different things for different people. AK, if we could give a bit more light on that.
It shows you here with the Paddington Basin, there's quite a bit of development there. Again, the regeneration area, 3.4% increase. North of Greenwich is another area with a lot of construction there and prices going up. There's Riverside Quarter, there's some fantasy, again, there's a small increase with Stratford, and South Bank has seen quite a big increases further up. There's also the other area, pocket areas in London where the increases have gone up to 50% in certain cases, so 30-50%. This is the average sales again, rent where the hotspots beat the overpriced market, central London area, but there's quite a few other areas just around very close proximity which have good transport links to London, and again there's a lot of traction to be had there. There's a lot of gain to be had in certain areas. So again, you need to pick out those pockets and see good access to central London.
So reflecting on some of the travel links, those hotspots that are emerging, how do you kind of advise on a more holistic level your clients and understanding what those trends are, where to maximize growth? So coming back to the point of purchase, then what sort of budget should underpin the purchase, whether it's a buy-to-let or a buy-to-live. Often clients that are out-of-towners are unfamiliar with the way London is, and again veer towards the traditional postcodes and centre. Also determining price, location, maintenance allowance and long-term growth is part of our service package, so we ensure that the client isn't burnt on necessarily buying an overpriced unit. Again, some of the movement that's happening in London at the moment due to affordability, as we mentioned, the young professional moving out to sort of less known suburbs and creating a regeneration in those suburbs by moving there.
The other typical example was Enfield. It's one of the largest regeneration areas in London at the moment, where they're spending £6 billion developing 10,000 homes. Properties there. But Newham and Stratford again, and Redbridge is a big area, along the route of the Crossrail, where there's big margins going on. And there's Lambeth, there's Croydon, which has lost over 1 million square foot of office space from residential to office to residential conversions, which they've now stopped, but there's a lot of development and there's still potential there. We're hoping that once the Westfield Shopping Centre comes here, it's going to increase further still. And also in the south, there's a town called Cambridge, where they've actually got planning permission to build 4,000 homes in the Greenbelt area. Again, that's quite significant because it's such a tight squeeze, they're all trying to build more and more homes. And from East Croydon to London, you're talking about 15-minute train journey, so it's very close proximity. They may be far out, but there's very close proximity. And in the west, there's Ealing. Hillingdon, again, has seen significant price growth as well, as far as Slough and Reading, but that's all along the route here.
So hotspots for letting, as we mentioned, some of the commuter belts that are emerging because of the Crossrail have enabled new postcodes to emerge. So with letting, we're seeing more rental growth in the outer Greater London areas. So what we do advise our clients when they are looking at buy-to-let, some of the taxation parameters have changed, and we have quite a few tax advisors here amongst us. Those parameters are changing, have changed and will continue to change. So advising clients becomes that more challenging. The stamp duty, the tax law, and the inability to offset mortgage and wear and tear on your rental income is now becoming more of a challenge. So understanding how to still create a lucrative investment opportunity on a buy-to-let portfolio is really key. So what we do try and sort of advise clients is to overcome some of those challenges looking at multiple value adds. So with some of the intel we've shared with you, as much as possible go into those areas, those postcodes where you are somewhat guaranteed multiple value adds to your investment opportunity that will drive rental traffic. and ensure that in this fast-moving market you won't have untenanted property.
Again, this is the map of London. This is different in the underground. And this shows the typical rental values for one-bedroom flat. So in Vauxhall, again, which is 10 minutes from 5 minutes from Victoria, £730. In Victoria, you're looking at £1,400 per month. And a month in North, you got Baker Street, 1,100. St John's Wood, 1,500. And then Camden Town is quite popular again, that's 944. So you can see the big variation in rental prices, but the further you go out, obviously the cheaper it is, and there's all around tube stations and access to central London. So again, these are the key areas we need to look at. And this is the Crossrail.
So AK Crossrail 1 is already under play, Crossrail 2 is soon
again,
to roll out.
It starts from Reading, goes all the way up to King's Cross, so all the way to central London. And we've all seen prices go up significantly from 380,000 now. There's Slough's gone up nearly 50% in the last 2 years. And although Southall again is at the moment is going through significant price increase there, all the way from Bond Street, Camden. So all along these routes here, you've seen price growth, and it's going to be further growth still once the train actual Elizabeth Line comes into service, which is I think expected 2019. So.
And just to add, I think you mentioned yesterday, AK, Herne Hill saw a 53% increase in property value just last year alone. So that's how incredibly fast London real estate market is moving. So based on Crossrail and now HS2 between London and Birmingham, we are seeing a huge growth potential for rental and investment opportunities for clients. So the expanding suburbs towards the intercity rail services is encouraging, like I mentioned before, young professionals who are being priced out of more central London postcodes, who are still able to commute quite easily to the centre. And with the ever-expanding property market, supply and demand will start to drive this shift. So the opportunities to make margins are realistically more on the Greater London belt rather than simply just central London. And the plans to roll out Crossrail 2 from Epsom in Surrey in the south to Cheshunt in the far north are soon to be rolled out. So again, we've seen already a huge growth in Epsom and Newell prices. I think already 20 to 30% even last year alone. So again, these are viable areas to invest in.
This shows the map of Crossrail 2, which is going to Epsom, Chessington in the south, there's Kingston, Surbiton, all the way up to Cheshunt, and eventually up to Cambridge as well. So through King's Cross station again. So that's King's Cross. It's going to link with Crossrail 1, Crossrail 2. The connectivity is going to be huge all around that area. And this is the average price growth anticipated along the Crossrail between now and 2020. From Woolwich, again, starting from a very low base, you expect the price to go about 40%. All the Slough, 50%. There's the Romford, so all over above 30% in the next 3-4 years. And this is the price for Birmingham. Again, Birmingham is going through another regeneration. They are actively, the council are actively talking to developers in joint partnerships and trying to rebuild area. The price there from 40 to 285,000, huge jumps in pricing there. There's good price growth from 3%, 4% all the way up to 2020. There's significant price growth there. So that's the second area after Manchester.
So what we're finding is, especially in the new emerging suburbs and towards Birmingham belt inclusive, there is a huge growth in the new build sector. But that in itself is quite a minefield to actually delve into and understand. Each developer is very different in their price point, in their sort of standard, build standard and finish. So understanding what value they have to offer and translating that back to the client so that they're not paying over and above what they should be. The rental market, again, understanding how maybe overbuild can depress the rental market, that's very key. Looking at square footage price, that is also key because that's very variable from developer to developer. And also between the new build market, AK, and the office to resi, there is a shift with council regulation on 35% development requirement. Could you explain that?
Yeah, I mean, with office to resi, there's no affordable homes in, and with new build there is affordable homes. But Sadiq Khan's requirements, we want to increase that to 35%. In fact, some projects have been given the go-ahead. They've gone up to 40% of affordable homes. So again, some projects may not be viable because of the affordable home criteria, but these need to be worked at and obviously speak on an individual basis. So, like I said earlier, Croydon lost 1.2 million square feet of office space. They've now stopped all of office to resi conversion. So again, there's still good margins to be had in office to resi, but more of the surrounding areas. Again, with that, office to resi, the building's already there, everything's in situ, there's no affordable home criteria. It's just a question of just converting the internal conversion. So again, there's a lower risk factor there.
Great. Thanks, AK. So that sums up sort of the core information of our session. What we would like to mention is that this is the one of first of four series on property-related intel. Our next one, sort of scheduled for June 29th, is on tax and non-dom status. If I could now take any questions you may have, if I could take them two at a time. And then again, as mentioned at the end of the session, if I could request you fill in the feedback form or request a one-to-one with our colleagues if there's further information you require on specific investment opportunities. So if anyone's got a question, I can pass the mic.
What are the risk parameters that you're looking for when you are looking at new opportunities?
Yeah, very good question. The risk
The
elements.
risk elements.
Or how do you analyze the risk?
Okay. We look at, when any particular project, when we look at the potential of, there's always a risk. There's you look at calculated risk. When you're buying a home flat, it's already there. It's a question of converting into two flats. So it's easier once you get the planning, you can gain that. With the rooftop one, again, we purchase an option where after for 3 years, typically, and once you've got the option, then you buy it. Otherwise, you don't pay. You pay a small amount initially. Once you've got a planning, that's when you purchase the actual thing. So it's minimal risk. We minimize the risk, obviously.
So we invite the investor on board once planning is in place, and so
So
we take the lion's share of the risk.
Yeah, we take the risk, and once you've got planning permission, then we would come. Then the investor would come in after that.
Why are you taking on the risk?
Because we love what we do, and also we work very hard in meeting those margins. And having stood in the business for 15 years, we're clearly doing something right, hopefully. But also we're moving with the market. So what we're saying is, so risk alleviation is very key for us as well as for the client. So moving strategically in this very busy market space is very key. Hence, we're now looking into the airspace as a viable option because those margins are achievable where they aren't in traditional build. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Thank you. Very interesting. I'm not quite clear how it works for the clients, whether they are contributing a single sum of money towards the project and then ending up with ownership of the property, or whether they're getting a return on the money that they put into the investment, and whether you effectively own the long freehold or the long leasehold on the property and then rent it out to them, etc. So I don't think that part of it is very clear in my mind yet.
Okay. Basically,
It is case, sorry.
it's on a case-to-case basis. However, it's the investor, you get the return on the property itself. So we buy the airspace. There's no freehold, there's leasehold. But we bought the airspace, we've developed it, and just sell it on basically. So you get, obviously your money will be secured on that property itself.
So essentially there's different investment scenarios. So there could be an outright procure property for me, refurbish, convert, hand back the key, or sell it on.
Like the Thai factory.
That's right.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's a case-to-case basis.
Oh,
But
okay.
But what we're very interested in sharing is the airspace opportunity purely because the margins are so lucrative. But otherwise, because as I mentioned to the lady, the traditional development space has become that much more tougher and competitive and costing. The margins are so squeezed out so much that we are suggesting that this will be the way forward.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Would you offer solo deals or would you offer syndication?
No, we offer solo deals as well.
But you offer both.
Yes.
That's
So
right.
people
Yeah.
could contribute, say, £100,000.
Exactly.
Yes.
A shared
That's,
deal.
that's right.
Absolutely. In fact, we've already been approached by various parties, syndicated individuals, so young city professionals who are clubbed together. That's becoming more and more of a trend. So they want to put their bonuses somewhere. They don't have the time or the acumen to go out hunting the right investment opportunity. So they said, well, as a club of 5, we could raise $1 million, a couple of million. Is that an option? Yes, it is. So yes. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. AK is available for any other questions offline. If you would like to sign up for a one-to-one for any of your clients' sort of consultations, happy to take those. Thank you again for attending. I know after the wake of yesterday's security issues, we're really humbled that you all still came out. And thank you. And thank you to the Arab Chambers for hosting. Thank you.
Thank you.